Happy Monday.
Yes.
How's it going?
It is going. We are blowing it up.
Yeah.
We are doing stuff.
Yep. Well, we recap last week. So
Yes. Workshop.
that was the first of our thank you to all the folks at Ebby and
Claudia.
and
Yep,
Prosper
yep.
and Claudia Schubert for sponsoring
Yes.
it, Independence Title, because we had a great workshop on
That was awesome, dude.
Monday, and there were a lot of people in there, being our guinea pigs as we kind of unveiled.
And shout out to Tiffany for hosting
Shout out to Tiffany for hosting.
the initial inaugural run up the flagpole.
And everybody that showed up Friday and got brave and got on camera and shot a video.
I cannot wait to see that because we were doing Teresa's show while you were there.
Yeah, I think Chris is working on that right now, all those videos.
Awesome.
So,
Dude, props.
yeah, it was, hey.
Dude, you crushed. Well, and you were like, oh man, what if, X, Y, and I'm like, dude, the thing for me was the meat and taters of the workshop, and that shit was legit, dude.
Yeah.
And I will freely admit you put far more effort into the interactive. Because like me, I would often just try to read the room and just kind of improvise or whatever. So like kudos for what was that, Menti?
Mentimeter is
Mentimeter.
Yeah, so I've used it like once before for like a word cloud type activity where it's like, hey, put a bunch of word, you ask the audience and it comes up in a word cloud. And I was going to do something similar to launch the workshop. I was going to kind of like get to know you. I wanted to get some like keywords and discuss that type of stuff with them. And as I did that, I was like, wait a second, there's like a whole slide deck opportunity with all types of questions and responses, and it's all interactive because they're interacting with their phone, and it's all going live onto the screen. What you sacrifice is some like, I don't know, some of the like flair of the presentation. So like all the colors and fonts and like it just doesn't have all that.
But there's also the thing like just having done the cliched version 10,000 times, where it's like, okay, you've got like some cool images, but they're static. They're not like, and people are reading, and because that's one of the whole things of making a presentation is like, do not put like a Wikipedia page
we don't,
up there.
exactly.
Because it's like now everybody's just reading, and then if you're going to read along to your slides, everybody's going to want to jump out the window.
Yeah.
And this wasn't that.
Yeah, I just didn't want to talk. I felt like I was talking at people when I was reviewing it in the beginning. I was like, hey, I'm just like, this is supposed to be a workshop, right? We're supposed to be really interactive, and so
we're here to be friends.
Yeah. So like every 2 or 3 slides, there was an opportunity for like us to re-engage.
Yes. And that worked.
Yeah, I think so.
Because for me, I'm like, okay, what is he doing here? And then the way that the word cloud and that I think there were 15 people in the room, and then like whenever like 6 answered the question, you're like, okay, well there's a few more stragglers here, and then people would start.
It forced people to think about it, and then like it gives us a chance to like look up on the board and be like, okay, who said this, right? And then we can talk about it and elaborate.
Well, it was cool
on it.
too.
And it made so the next workshop's going to look completely different than this workshop, right? Because the answers will be different.
And the coolest part was once everybody settled in and figured out the gimmick, and they realized like, oh, I can't say some dumbass clever thing or whatever because I might get called out. I
actually have to put something on the board, right?
I would have been that guy. I would have been the guy that, like I'm doing some pun or I'm doing some like ridiculous thing or whatever. And then by the third question or the third slide with a question, now people are participating and answering based on the interactive aspect of the thing. Yeah. And it was like, that was cool to watch because at the beginning they're like, what are we doing? And then the ones that were really in, they answered automatically. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it just has this organic thing. And like you said, every one of them will be completely different.
Yeah. Everybody came in at like different levels too. So just to give a really, really brief recap of what this workshop does, over the course of 3 hours, we kind of build a video framework, like a blueprint of how we
why are we doing what we're doing?
Video. Why we're doing what we're doing. It includes like hooks and what I call a mission. What do I call that? Magnet statement. And then you tell a story and then some sort of payoff, right? Whatever your hook said, you pay them off. And then what I call a value trigger, which is a little modification of a call to action.
Yes.
And so we build that day one, and then a couple days later we come back and we film it. So all these people that sat down and took this class, kind of drinking through a fire hose, built a video framework, and we on Saturday, Cruz and I went out there back to the office and we shot them, and it was great,
which is awesome.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see those. Will come back here in a couple days.
Well, because I got to admit, I was curious about we gave them homework, and are they going to come back? Because in the
varying levels of preparedness coming back, and it's fine because Cruz is like a pro when it comes to like, because he's used to people like wanting to be creative and do new ideas. So like they come back and be like, I don't know what I'm doing, and some people we finagled
Which
that.
I love hearing that because 4 years ago, he would just shadow me.
Yeah.
And then, because he's coming in absolutely ice cold. He has no concept of real estate or anything about coaching people on camera. And then by osmosis, and then I would basically send him out and be like, go give it a try. Or I'll be there, you give it a try. And then after a while, it's like, okay, dude, you got it.
And he did 100% of that because I was sitting there trying to structure the language, and we kind of like massaged their message to be a little more concise or a little more like narrow. And then when it came to shooting it, like I'd be like, hey, Cruz, like you do that stuff. And then I stepped out and just listened like around the corner.
Love it.
And he would put them like in certain, he just does a good job. I mean, I can't say enough about
and
what,
like there,
what
just
he's doing.
watching that evolve over time has been massive. So that was
good. That was last week.
Yeah, so that was last week's workshop and the very first, and that was an Ebby Halliday thing by way of Independence title. So we will be coming to an Ebby Halliday office near you. However, we also have something in the works for tomorrow, which will be, is this our fourth?
Yeah, I think fourth or fifth event with KW Go.
Yes, with Colette. And boy, you want to talk about going down. I could see where she influenced what you did last week.
Oh yeah, like I mean, I have her like our messaging is like really. She's more on the branding side, and I'm more on like interpersonal communication, like the persuasion side.
And you're also
so like we are going down the same path, like right next to each other.
Yes, it's is it divergent evolution or the two things like
things evolve the same way. Yeah, we've talked about this before. Yeah,
so like seeing that too, and watching her from the almost intellectual, psychological as it pertains to design and font and color and things like that. And then you come at it with everything else where it was like the nuts and bolts of like, hey, this is what we're going to do on camera. This is why you're going to do this on camera. This is why you need to have this at the end.
Yeah.
And all of those things kind of, they all roads lead to Rome. And then Corey is also involved now. And got to admit that over the last few months, I have started to drink the Corey Kool-Aid.
Yeah. You watch him do this presentation a few times, and you're like, okay, all this stuff starts to make sense.
Yes. Yeah. And realizing or coming to realize that he is, because at first glance, you're like, oh, 50-something white guy making TikToks. That's interesting. That's a thing. And then when you actually sit with him over the time of the actual presentation in the class, and then you see like, oh, he's actually obsessed over like trends.google.com.
Yeah.
And so there's a method and dare I say a science to what he's doing. And as a result, we've got almost 8 million views in 3 months on Facebook, 3 million views on Instagram, and 2.3 million on TikTok.
I mean, yeah, he could tell you how to monetize it. Hey, you want to make some money just making videos? You can do that.
Yes.
Where he really shines is getting people comfortable with just making content, right? And he delivers that message so well. He's such a good coach.
Absolutely. And he has got the patience of Job because like you said, the room, it fills up and then everybody's at varying degrees of comfort, competence, just, even self-awareness, because there's a lot of that is involved, as far as, well, what is your message? Or like, who are, it's like, I sell anything anywhere. It's like, okay.
We got a lot of that. It's like, well, who's your target audience?
Yeah.
They're like, everybody that buys and sells houses. And I was like, no, that's not what we're looking for.
Yes, exactly. And so like with the three of you, I just love just kind of sitting in the bleachers and I get the front row seat to see all of these things that are, same but different, and the way it converges, and then what comes out of the oven on the back end is amazing, and it is individualized because I joked with Corey when we went to lunch after one of the things that we were at where Corey did the presentation. I was like, because he at first he was getting off in the weeds with AI because it's sort of like the flavor du jour.
And everybody wants to know about AI. So I mean, it's always a topic. It always comes up.
Absolutely.
Every time.
And there are so many snake oil brands out there right now that like, what is the lemon butterfly, or I don't know, which is whatever the ridiculous thing that's like, oh, send us a photo and we'll make a cinematic video out of it. And it's like, okay, everybody's going to catch on to that in about 45 seconds. And now you're subscribing to a thing that everybody's going to go robot.
I think they're hoping to get like mass. I get subscribed to that. I know what you're talking about, that same editing tool. And I get blasted with that. I think they're looking for everybody to subscribe and then like kind of forget about it.
Yes, exactly.
It's like it's one of those.
If you could hit that sweet spot in the marketing, is it $9.99?
Yeah, to where like I don't notice it hit through my
$14.95, and I'm as guilty of that because I will try almost everything because I'm still, oh my God, would somebody please perfect like the slideshow maker? You know,
yeah.
where could I just just take a bunch of Polaroids in a bucket and just dump it in, and it shoots out the other side in a kick-ass slideshow?
Prezi does an okay job of
right
putting
on.
together something, but you really gotta. It's not perfect.
Well, and just like we were talking about the TikTok templates before we went live, it's like, okay, I love the idea, but they're always these like, I don't know, or maybe I don't mess with it enough to be seeing anything other than, okay, like here's an 11-second template.
Like a CapCut template?
Yeah, like
using?
the CapCut template. Yeah. Okay, it's 11 seconds. And it's like, it's not doing what I wanted. So now I'm frustrated because like 4 seconds of it is awesome.
Yeah.
And then the rest is just trash.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about that. Like you almost, when it comes to those templates, you almost have to shoot to the template. Like you have to find like your template you like. And you're like, okay, this is like nine clips and it's 2 seconds and 3.5 seconds and 1.5 seconds, and you have to build that story out if you want to be successfully execute that.
And
right
now, right there.
Not to say you can't go on and randomly like find a template and drop and come up with something cool.
But, you know, as well as I do, like you're absolutely right. And if we're down the rabbit hole where, okay, now all of this labor is involved in something that's supposed to be a templated thing that is quick, I'm out. I'm like, okay, I've already lost my mind. But the cool thing about what Corey does is Corey is the guy who is learning all of that shit for you, where he will say something and I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, and he's A/B testing stuff a lot of times. So when he'll come and say something, you'll be like, is that true? And you'd be like, you pull on the side, you're like, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, well, actually, over the last 3 months, like we've in parallel put post this way, and here's what we found, right?
Yes.
So he's a student of this.
And that was the thing that I did not know and did not expect, in all fairness. And then it doesn't come across in just the marketing materials, you know? So for example, to go down that, oh, look at that, right on cue. To go down that rabbit hole next week, we're starting, so Studio West in Colleyville at the Cherry Creek Mortgage Building. Shout out to Brooke and Jefferson and Todd and everybody over there. We are going to start doing Corey's intro level, low bar of entry, and to start learning about all this stuff every month. It's actually going to be on the second Thursday of every month, but this month we're going to do the last Tuesday.
Tuesday, August 26th, single hour course.
Yes. So it's the single hour, and and we can run over if we want, because we're doing an open house in the studio afterward with the idea of Corey getting everybody acclimated, you know, pressurized and able to breathe, with the idea of like, hey, we might make video, you know, or I might be able to make videos. Then we can kind of, you know, saunter down the hall and there's a full-blown production studio right there. And for anybody that's interested in sponsorship, we were kind of talking about this beforehand, where we'll have a couple of deals like, okay, if you just want to, you know, pay us $100 or whatever and put your flyers out and everything and kind of hang out and kind of glean whatever you can glean as far as the class goes, cool, do that. We were totally on board. But the other thing, which I think is the secret sauce, next level recipe, because to put on my affiliate hat, and you know this as well as I do from sponsoring 190 at 5, it's like the bonding happens whenever you're not in the classroom and handing snacks or whatever. So
when you're not doing your dog and pony show up front, right? You're like 2 minutes of like, hey, this is what we do.
Yes. And so we were kicking around the idea of like a $250 sponsorship level where you can actually invite somebody. And the classic example would be invite one of your favorite clients to do a testimonial.
Do a customer testimonial. Yeah. I mean, that's huge. You for at that price point, like that's
right. Exactly. And I love, again, kudos to you. I love, you're like, yeah, let's ratchet that up.
I was saying, that's really, everything we do sounds really cheap.
Yeah. Well, and as now that I'm in recovery, I can say that's how it starts. Yep. It starts very inexpensively.
So the idea is to be able, this is a real great opportunity for a lot of our ecosystem partners to take advantage of what we're doing here. Right?
And we do want to have, you know, like a couple of months up, you know, where you're in, you know, where you sign up for like a 3-month sponsorship deal. So now you know, you can invite people to the class, and then if you want to have a, you know, swim with a buddy and bring somebody in that is like really like, oh, okay. And then whenever after the class, we can go in and do a testimonial.
Yeah. Client testimonials are huge. I mean, like
Yes.
for social proof, we're always looking for, especially when we're uncertain about making a decision, we look to people that, or look to other people and see who else.
Which was part of the workshop.
Which is part of the workshop. Social
Yes.
proof is a powerful persuasive tool.
and that was one of the things I loved as far as you actually explained the concept of what it really amounts to is like, okay, this is why you see the same shit over and over again.
I'm such a nerd though. I think I did too much of like why you should do this and why you should care. Like I spent like an hour being like, here's all the persuasion and hooks and like these are all the smart people telling you why.
Well,
that was the feedback I got from Tiffany was like, let's just do work instead.
Yeah. Well, and like there's y'all in the middle is probably the sweet spot. But I loved it because I'm a nerd too, from the standpoint of I love the psychology behind it and why it works. Because I mean, I love pro wrestling, but I know it's fake, you know. But I will admit that like if they're really good, there will be a time in the match where my suspension of disbelief is fully engaged and I'm in and I'm like, oh, they got me. And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And so this is just taking that formula and making it, well, one of the things I love why it dovetails so perfectly with Corey is he's coming from the opposite direction of exactly what you're talking about, where he's slipping in the business content in between, like, hey, here's a TikTok about wearing Crocs, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but you're giving the people the reason why both of those things work.
Yeah.
And why you want to do it. And, you know, the whole thing of nobody knows who you are, advertise more. That's, and then we're laughing earlier where you're like, yeah, people are like, what's Tanner doing? What are you up to? What are you, you know, like, what's going on?
Yeah, now that there's this content machine like behind me, right, where I'm not making every piece of content that comes out. It looks like I'm much busier than I am. When really we're just sitting back here playing with our toys.
Yes, and we're doing it right now. And so this will go into the wood chipper and be chopped up and spliced into probably, I don't know, 17 or 19 pieces that will go out everywhere.
God, do we say that much smart stuff? I don't know.
That's debatable.
All right.
But I know you got to go. You got to be somewhere.
Yeah, I got to run to an appointment. But
I'm fired up for tomorrow. Fired up for a week from tomorrow.
Tomorrow's going to be great.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care. Have a good week.
Bam.
Bye.